Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Garrett Cush. Sunday morning of Super Bowl. And this is another morning study. This Essence of Success by Earl Nightingale. This passage, falling isn't failing. Mary Pickford used to say, "Don't look at the sudden loss of a habit or a way of life as the end of the road. See it instead as only a bend in the road that will open up all sorts of interesting possibilities and new experiences. After all, you've seen the scenery on the old road for so long, and you obviously no longer like it. The breaking of a long-time habit does seem like the end of the road at the time, the complete cessation of enjoyment. Suddenly dropping the habit so fills our minds with the desire for the old habitual way that, for a while, it seems there will no longer be any peace, any sort of enjoyment, but that's not true. New habits form in a surprisingly short time, and a whole new world opens up to us. For those who have tried repeatedly to break a habit of some kind, only to repeatedly fail, Mary Pickford said, "Falling is not failing unless you fail to get up." Most people who finally win the battle over a habit they have wanted to change have done so only after repeated failures. And it's the same with most things. So don't think of it as the end of the road, but as a bend in the road. And falling is not failing unless we fail to get up again. I remember in Arthur Miller's play The Price, the father lost everything during the stock market crash of 1929, and for the rest of his life, sat in a room in the attic of a relative. That's failing. It seems some people lack the stamina, the energy to do it all over again or to make a new start. For them, it's just the end of the road and they've come to a full stop. Many lead such superficial lives, have so little depth of mind and spirit that the sudden loss of income or material things is too much for them, and they jump out a window or retreat into insanity. I remember hearing the story of the little boy who wanted to get over the backyard fence. He stood for a long time looking at the fence, and then slowly, with many falls and failures, he dragged a box to the fence. After many more attempts and falls, he managed to get to the top of the box. But he still couldn't reach the top of the fence. He set to work once again, this time getting a small box to place on the top of the big one. Again, he fell many times and had to get back on his feet. After much tugging, pushing, lifting, and dropping, he got the small box on top of the big box, laboriously clambered to the top of it, grasped the top of the fence, and flopped over. So if you've been trying to start in a new direction, you might do well to remember the advice of Mary Pickford. It isn't the end of the road, it's just a bend in the road, and falling isn't failing unless you don't get up. So this is about that, perseverance again and keep going. Failing, you're not a failure unless you stop, and that's the choice you have. So, in those times when you feel like you just want to quit and shut her down, just remember that, as long as you're moving forward, even if it's little steps, you're still progressing towards a worthy ideal, and that's the definition of success. So failing is only failing if you stop. The other thing is it talks about how, when you decide to change a habit, things seem difficult, it seems hard. And what he points out, which is really cool, is that as you're starting to change a habit, you want to fall back into the old one because the new one's harder. But what I love about what he said is that as you start to change a habit, it pulls you down a different direction or a different road. So you don't even know what's possible until you start to change those actions, those behaviors, right? And when you start to change those behaviors, a whole nother world opens up to you and opportunities come to you that you never know even existed. So, don't worry about failing as a sign of you being a, poor or bad or low self-esteem or anything like that. Recognize that, failure is just a necessary component for success. So, start looking at it a little differently. When you start changing that habit, recognize that other things are going to open up and possibly something you never dream. So hope you enjoyed that morning little passage. We'll be here again tomorrow morning and later in the day with some more good information. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Enjoy the Sunday and enjoy the Super Bowl. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya.